Hey guys, Big815 here, and today I'm going to make a video on the field stripping of a Glock pistol, in this case my Glock 17. Good thing about Glock pistols is the takedown, field stripping, disassembly, whatever you want to call it, is fairly simple, can be done fairly quickly, and pretty much without any tools. I do have, as you can see here, my Glock tool out today, because I'm going to disassemble it a bit further than necessary for standard cleaning. And luckily, if you know how to disassemble one Glock, you basically know how to disassemble any Glock, because no matter what caliber, size, compact, subcompact, they all get taken apart pretty much the same way. So let's begin. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and safety check the gun. Remove the mag. Mag is empty. I'm actually going to get rid of it and put it over here. Let's check the gun. Mag is out. Nothing in the chamber. Visually inspect, physically inspect. Okay. Slide forward, fire in a safe direction. Okay. Now what you're going to do is, I'm going to explain this in detail because a lot of people just do it quickly. What you want to do is, after you've dry fired the gun, you made sure it's unloaded, you pull the trigger, you want to kind of wrap the webbing of your hand like if you were going to shoot it, but instead of gripping it, you're going to wrap it upwards over the slide. Okay, this is how I have found is best. Some other Glock owners do it a different way. This is how I found it to be the best. With this hand, I'm going to get a good grip around the gun here. I'm going to pull back on it just ever slightly till I hear the first click. I don't know if you heard that, but it just clicked. Okay, once it clicked, I'm going to get this tab and the same exact tab on this side and pull them down simultaneously and then release the grip that I have. That's it. I'm still holding down the two levers. By the way, I didn't let go of the two levers. Then just continue forward and off comes the slide. So now we have the gun in two parts. We have the polymer frame and the slide. Okay. Now the slide is easy. You're just going to push forward on the spring, push it up, it's going to come out. First go forward on the barrel, then up and back out, and you have field stripped your Glock. I normally do this kind of disassembly for cleaning it after the range. I've gotten to the point now where I don't clean my Glock out for quite some time. Like this, my Glock right now is pretty dirty, or dirtier than I normally keep my guns. I've probably put about 200 rounds since I last cleaned it, and this is normally what I do when I want to lubricate it and get rid of all of that buildup when I've gone shooting. So this is your standard field strip right here. You can lubricate from this point. You can clean out. You can pass the brush through the barrel. Do all the things necessary to maintain your gun. Now we're gonna move. Here's the barrel. We're gonna move these over here, and we're gonna do a little bit more disassembly. Well, first we'll do the slide. Let's do the slide first. To completely take apart your slide, you're going to pull up on that tab. I don't know if you heard the click. And underneath that little tab, there's like a button. And you're going to depress that button. Let's see if we can get that on camera. You can use your Glock tool. You can push in and down. And as you're pushing down, you're holding it down. You're going to put your finger on this back plate here and slowly push it out. And be really careful because there's some springs in here, some spring-loaded stuff in here that can come flying out. You're going to slowly push it out. Once you've cleared that first spring, you can let go with your Glock tool and use your other hand to help you. Remove the back plate, still keeping pressure with your thumb so you don't let those springs come flying out. So we've taken out the back plate, and I'm going to show it here. First thing to come out, this is your firing pin. Oof, that's dirty. After you've taken the firing pin out, there is a little plunger here. You can get out. Very careful not to lose any of these parts. This also very dirty. We're going to set this aside here. Now that you've taken the firing pin out and this little rod with the plunger on the end of it, you can now push out, depress this plunger. You can bring out your extractor. Okay, by depressing this little plunger in here, you can take out your extractor. You have to make sure to remove the components from the back first. Here's your extractor. You can slowly depress the plunger, pull the plunger out. Should have a little spring attached to it. Be very careful with that, don't lose that. And there you have it. Your slide is disassembled. Except for the sights, of course. But you just have a bare metal slide. Alright. And that's it for the slide. Now we're going to do the frame. This should be enough to get everything that you need to get cleaned. Okay? So, like I said earlier, we're going to move on to the the frame. The frame, so we're going to need the Glock tool. First thing I'm going to do is punch out this top pin. Careful not to stab myself. First pin, then the pin right below it. Just push. If you have trouble, you can just move your slide release back and forth. Okay, we got it out. Sorry about that. You got to play with it. It helps to move the slide release up and down and play with it a little bit. And but I managed to get it out. Once you get both of these springs out, you can go ahead and lift up. It will come right out. Your slide release. Once you have that second pin out and you've taken out the slide release, you have your takedown levers here. You can see how they bounce right back up. Well, there's a spring right here, as you can see, that pushes that takedown lever upward back into place. You're going to depress that spring, tilt your gun sideways, let gravity. Takedown lever will slide right out, either left or right. Once you depress that spring, it'll slide right out. Make sure not to lose that. So we got rid of our takedown lever so far, in 2 pins. Once you take out the takedown lever, this should pop right out. And of course it doesn't, because I'm recording it. We'll use a little bit of leverage with the Glock tool. Presto, that came right out. Okay, don't lose that. I'm not going to take out the magazine release. I did that once. Major pain in the ass. If you want to put an extended mag release on your gun, I'm not going to do that video. That was such a pain. There's many videos online that I can recommend, but such a pain. And anyways, I wouldn't get an extended mag release. This thing is fine here just the way it is. But anyways, moving on with the disassembly. Here we have the back strap pin. We're going to go ahead and remove that one now. Push. Most of these pins, you won't have to hammer them. You just got to wiggle them and play with them for a little bit, and they'll come right out. You really don't need a hammer for this gun. Once you remove this pin, you can take out the trigger housing. You can grab it by this bar here, and there's your trigger. Let's get a better shot of this. Your trigger assembly, and woo, that is dirty. Like I said, I'm definitely going to clean this gun thoroughly once I stop recording. That is essentially your Glock, my Glock in this case, completely disassembled. The frame, it's got everything out of it. I can take the back strap out. Well, actually, I think, because I have the slug plug in, I can't. But the back strap would come out normally. This thing, it's so annoying. Let me show you. There's like a spring in here, but it's just like a metal rod that it bends a certain way, and it keeps tension on the the button as you push it on the magazine release, and it's just such a pain to get back into its slot that I'm not going to do it. But anyways, yeah, this is it. No trigger, hollow. And here we have all the components. It's not that hard. I know it looks like a lot of stuff on the table, but it's really not that hard. You can put it back the same way that you took it apart. Which, you know what, I'll do a video on that. I'm going to go ahead and reassemble it on camera so you can see that it's not that hard. And I know I probably edited some parts out, but that's probably because I'm a bad talker. But I haven't needed any tools or anything besides that Glock tool. I'm just trying to cut back on time. And so I'm doing all this in real time. I will stop the video briefly to kind of clean up some of these pieces before I put them back. Alright, we're back. I actually didn't have some of the stuff that I needed, so I'm just going to go ahead and put it back together. It's not super clean, but I'm just going to go ahead and put it back together anyways. It's a problem being a lazy person, right? Alright, the same way this came out, we're going to drop it right back in. Whoops. Okay. No rush. Everything snaps back into place. Alright, once you've dropped the assembly in there, you can go ahead and put that pin through. The good thing about the pins is that all three pins look different. You may be confused at first as to which goes where, but you'll get the hang of it. Like I said, this pistol is very easy to take apart, put back together. You can do a lot of the gunsmithing, so to speak, yourself because it's fairly easy. So yeah, the three pins are different. All three of them are different sizes, and you'll be able to tell which ones they won't fit in each other's slots. Maybe the two skinny ones will, but the ones that go on the upper part of the frame have grooves, so you'll know right away. Okay. So we went ahead and put the trigger assembly back in. Alright, now we're going to drop this little rail piece back in here. Forgot what the technical name of this is, but bear with me. Okay, see there? That's going to slide right back into place. Make sure the holes line up on the metal part to the frame. We're going to reinstall the takedown lever, and you're going to basically have to do the same thing you did to take it out. To take it out is you're going to depress this spring in the center here, and you're going to slide it back in. Make sure that that little groove, that's where the spring goes, right in the center. So you know which way you're going to put it in. You don't put it facing in the wrong direction. So depress and slide, or don't. There we go. And just kind of, once you get it in there, you can, bingo. It fell right into the slot. Now you have your takedown lever back in place. Alright, next thing you're going to do is drop your slide catch back in. And you're going to drop it basically in between, how do I explain that? Right on the left hand side of your trigger, there's like a little slot. There's a couple of slots. It's going to be that first trick with this. Let's see if I can explain this. Here's the slot that the first pin is going to go into, the fat pin. And this little spring here, or this piece of metal, the pin on top has to ride on top of this, pushing it down so that it has tension. That's what gives it tension. The big pin holds it in place. The little one pushes this down, and it keeps it from just wobbling, okay? So one of the easier ways to get that right is without putting in your slide catch, you put in your skinny pin in first, the one that goes on top. We're going to go ahead and push it through. There we go. We pushed it through. Let's even that out a little bit. You can see where the coloration on my pin is starting to go. Alright, so I put the small pin in. Now what I'll do is I'll take the slide catch and slide it into that same groove, but now the pin is there, so it forces me, it'll put tension on that little spring. And so I can start to feel it as soon as I go in. You're going to have to push in to line up that hole, and sometimes it wants to come back out, but you'll push it in, line up your hole, and now you know for a fact that you're not going to mess that up because that pin is already in place and that bar is underneath, creating tension. You're going to put your big pin in. Okay, there it is. That took a little bit longer than I wanted it to, but that second pin is in, and that top pin has lost all of its color. Let me push them a little bit further. You want to get them to where they're about the same amount of pin showing on both sides. You don't want it protruding more on one side than you do the other. Okay? It looks about right. Looks good. Okay. We're done with the frame. Look at that. Halfway there. The slide obviously is much easier. Same thing as before. We're going to do reverse order. You're going to drop in your extractor. Let's see if I can do this on camera. Slide it in the same way that you found it. Hold it with your finger. Grab your little plunger. Don't forget the spring. And drop it in there. Okay, you kind of depress it, it stays in place. But don't go moving the slide around too much because this won't be locked in properly till this guy gets put in. He goes in the upper right hand corner, spring facing upward. Drop it in. Then comes your firing pin assembly. Obviously you just line up that little key there to come down the slot. Push it till everything is flush. Now you're going to slide that back plate back on. And this sometimes is a little bit tough. You're going to start it about a quarter of the way. Then sometimes you can do it with your finger, sometimes it's a little bit harder. You can use the tool. You have to press your striker first and push the back plate over it. Let's see if I can. Oops. Okay. So I pushed the striker down and started the plate, pushed the plate up a little bit more so that it is holding the striker down. And then I'll depress the little plunger, push it down as I push the plate upward, and lock it into place. There we go. Now that you can see right there where that metal rod is now holding between the plunger and the rod is holding that extractor in place. Go to our barrel, slide the barrel in and back, put the front end of the spring, the plastic cap in the groove, push upward, drop it into the little lip on the barrel, line up slide and frame, come back with it, and there you go, completely reassembled. One thing that I like to do after I do a disassembly of that extent on any one of my firearms, and I recommend you do it too if you have any snap caps, load a couple into a magazine, and just to kind of make sure that the gun is loading and ejecting, or extracting the rounds I should say, properly. Look at that. There we go. Staying open on the last round, so you know you did a good job with the slide catch. And no problems extracting. That extractor is working just fine. Thanks for watching. You're going to drop this guy in on this first slot. It would help if this wasn't upside down. Wow. Yeah, I'm probably gonna go ahead and just clean my gun when I'm done with this video. Fuck.